grow crops. My heroes. You know how heroes, some people's heroes are, some people's heroes are ball players, right? Some people's heroes are baseball players. Some people's heroes are stock car racers. My heroes are farmers. Wayne Scott, Unicoi, Tennessee. Ted Kirkland from Franklin, North Carolina. I had no father, but my heroes are these men and these women who could go out and do these big jobs. And they were good at it. And they were my heroes. And they worked hard and they were happy. And I loved them for it. You know, that's a hero.
By being a student, farm assistant down at North Carolina State University, and there was a half-acre farm very similar to what we got going on here, very intense, small area in which we grow a huge diversity of crops. And it's all, right now, it's trial and error, because I'm kind of like y'all. I didn't grow up, well, some of y'all, I didn't grow up in a garden. I didn't grow up on a farm, and so this has all been learning from a book, and by blending it ourselves and seeing what happens, and taking problems that we see and doing some research and finding a solution. So I learned how to grow crops through trial and error.
Mostly my grandma. She made me grow her garden with her when I was little.
My grandmother, she had a huge garden at her house, and I had to go there.
What I did here is we laid this plastic, and if you see right here, can you see that right there that's dead? That was rye. I planted rye here. Then I burned it down. I had some stuff, I burned it down. So the rye is a real good natural herbicide, you know what I'm saying, itself. So, and I like rye too in the middles. And then we do use some selective herbicides, which mean a herbicide is a weed killer. And we clean the herbicides. These are pretty weedy in here right now. And this field right here hasn't got any Johnson grass in it. You notice you see no Johnson grass coming.
We control weeds in our garden by hand picking primarily. We also have other tools such as small spades that we can use, or my favorite is called the scuffle hoe. And it allows you to cut the roots right underneath the plant. The plant stays there and dies and actually provides some residue. So we don't use any herbicides that you would see some of the other farmers using. That's why their crops are brown and the ground's brown, because they've killed all their other plants other than what they want, like corn, for example, with herbicide. So we control our weeds by hand.
Maylee, can you show us how to pull out that Johnson grass right there?
I'm just gonna grab this one, and then you grab the root, and then you pull.
What's that at the end?
You try to get out this little rhizome, because once it grows out and the other one dies, it'll grow more Johnson grass and get out of control.
We started using, several years ago, I started using predator mites. And I can't even think of the guy. I wish Gordon could come through. He'd probably come through tomorrow. He comes through from Florida. And he brings predator mites, and he surveys my field, and he brings in predator mites when he sees there's enough natural curry. You can't put predator mites out here unless there's 2 spots here, or they don't have nothing to eat. So you got to make sure you have a bounce for it.
The biggest method this summer was again by hand. I had you gardeners pick off Colorado potato beetles by hand, which really substantially help the yield of our potatoes. In addition to that, we also picked off the Mexican bean beetles off our green beans, which really helped out because there was no spread beyond that. And then, additionally, what we're doing today is we're doing some monitoring through our pit traps. By putting those in the ground, we can see what we're capturing and if there's our beneficials or our pest insects. Other methods that we did explore this summer are pheromone traps that we could have hung and collected whatever's flying through the air or attracted to the certain pheromones. And there's also different organically proved pesticides that we could use, such as neem oil. We could use a soap and water oil, and there's many varieties of different names of the same compound. But we didn't use those, and so primarily it's all by hand because we're trying to instill a little work ethic, and basically that's how our research would have done.
What do you know about them?
You've had to pick off these bugs off of them.
What bugs?
Colorado potato beetles.
Can you find one and show us?
Right here.
grew up in a farm family. You know what my family was? You know what my mother did? She was a piano teacher. How in the world did I come to a farm? I still don't understand that. No, I came to farming because I wanted to save farmland. That was back in the 70s. I love farmland, and I love to see farmland produce.
I pretty much jumped on a trend of seeing young people want to start organic farms and to get your food locally and to either grow your own food or know the person that is growing it. And so that's the purpose of also this program that y'all are in, to hopefully get you to the point to where you do grow a certain, a small percentage of your own food throughout the year. So that'd be fantastic.
These are good, and I don't like store-bought strawberries.
These are sweeter than the store-bought strawberries because you can get some and they're like all green, but look at this, that's all red.
Where did you get those strawberries from, by the way?
Out there in our garden.
Yeah, organic, there's a price premium on it, and that's why some of the farmers I have spoke with, they switch specifically to go to organic because there is a price premium. It takes a little bit more work. It's honestly the planning. It's all about the planning. If you can plan well, then the work is reduced, but it's a little bit more work intensive, and like I said, organic brings in more money, so I'm gonna stick organic.